Hi there and welcome to this special edition of In the Labs with me, Becky. Now in this video I'm going to show you how to create this Christmas beer caddy. So here it holds 6 bottles, it's got a bottle opener on the caddy itself. What more do you need? Let's have a look in the software how we made this.
So let's start by opening an existing file. So you're going to open the Christmas Beer Caddy.crv file. This can be opened in VCarve Pro, Aspire. If you are using VCarve Desktop, then be mindful that I am currently using a height of 36 inches, which does max out the desktop usage, so you can just rearrange this to fit your machine. Right then, so this is a slot together project. So as you've seen in the intro just then, you've seen it all assembled. Let's see how it all goes together. So we've got 2 side panels, which is represented by these 2 vectors here. We have a handle. That handle is slotting into these vectors here. We have a base, so this is slotting into the bottom slots of our side panels, and then we have a kind of rest that's going to sit in these vectors here, just so that the bottles are nice and secure whilst they're stood up. Now the circles, I'm trying to fit this for a 330ml bottle, so I've measured a diameter and of the bottle, which is just shy of 2.5 inches. So I've done these circles at 2.5 inches, laid them out using the array copy tools, creating 6 holes here. So if you're going to change this to use bigger or smaller bottles, then make sure you change the diameter of these circles. Got some text that we're going to VCarve. I've got a space here for my bottle opener to be assembled within this space here. Got a series of pegs, so when we slot these into the slots, we're going to slot these pegs into each one of these slots, and that's just really going to secure it in place. So as this is a slot together project, this is only going to work successfully straight away if you're using the same material thickness that I am. If not, no problem. Head over to your other layers. So we've got working parts, and we have a layer here called Change Me According to Z, and you can see that it's coloured red. So anything that's red is what you need to change. Okay, so on the side panels we've got these vectors here. If I click on one of those, we can see we have a width of 1 inch. You can keep that the same. It's just the height you need to change. So my height matches the thickness that I'm using. So all of these need to change according to the thickness that you are using. Then over onto the bases and the rest stand, you need to alter the thickness here. So here again you can see 0.48. If your material is more or less, you're going to make that wider or narrower according to whatever it is that you're using. And then you also want to alter the peg holes. So these peg holes are going to be altered according to your material thickness. So you can see here I'm just using the width and height here of 0.48. And then the idea with these holes is we're going to cut them through, and then we're going to slot pegs in just for added security. So the pegs you can find over here. So I've just took a standard rectangle shape that has a width of, yep, you've got it, 0.48 inches and a height of 1.5 inches. So keep the height the same. Then what I did was I then basically extended the top bit out over to the left a little, and then I decreased the bottom over to the right to create this angled effect. And the idea is that this shape is going to slot in to a slot that is the 0.48 by 0.48 in my instance, and so the midpoint of that peg should kind of sit nicely in place here. So the peg should look something like this when it's slotted into our slot here, and that should just give it a nice hold and a bit more rigidity. Okay, so you can kind of see how I drew this out. So everything in red is what you need to change. So let's go over back to our layout for machining, and then if we just zoom in, one final thing that you do need to do is you need to weld everything. So you need to weld the parts going between these. So remember, these were just rectangles. You just want to weld all of those together. And then you want to fillet out every part that's going to be crucial to the slot together design. So all of the slot holes and all of the parts that are actually going to slot into those holes. And you can do that at the radius of the tool that you're using. So let's have a look at the toolpath. So text, I've just done a VCarve toolpath. So here I'm using a 60-degree V-bit, and if we just go ahead and preview that, that's what the text looks like. Then we've got a series of pockets for the base and the holes and our slot together parts. So for the base, we're just cutting down at 0.24 just so that we have an actual base stand for the bottles to sit inside. So if we preview that, okay, so they're going to rest inside there. Then we've got pocket holes, so cutting all the way through this time, so I'll preview that, so they're going to slot into there. And we've got pocket slots, that's all of the slotted parts. Now, as this is a slot together project, you want to make sure that you adjust the pocket allowance. So here I'm just applying a very small overcut. This is the magic number that has worked for me in the past. It just means that it's neither too loose nor too tight when you slot parts together, but please, as always, do your own tests to figure out what allowance works best for your material, the tools that you're using, and so on. Okay, so we'll close out there, preview that, preview this toolpath. That's what that looks like. And then we've got a cutout here, cutting all the way through. We've got some tabs in there to hold our part in place, and that's pretty much it. So at this stage, we'll go ahead and save those toolpaths out and run them on the CNC. So first up, we're using the 60-degree V-bit to run the VCarve toolpath. That's going to carve out our text for both of the side panels of the beer caddy. Next up, we're machining all of the toolpaths that use that same end mill tool. So we're going to start with the pockets, followed by a profile cutout to cut all of the parts out. So now it's time to remove all of the tabs with our handsaw. And then to clean everything up, we're just going to sand off those tabs and just give it a general sand over on the top and bottom surfaces of each piece of the beer caddy. So here I'm manually creating pilot holes for the bottle opener. Now in hindsight, I should have really done this in the software. It would have been much easier, much more accurate. So if you're going to cut this, please go back to the file and insert your pilot holes there. So onto the assembly, so we're just sorting everything together and then just securing all of the parts with those pegs. I'm using a hammer just to kind of just secure the pegs in place, and we've got a real nice sturdy finish.
Okay, so that completes this Christmas beer caddy. Now, if you fancy having a go at creating your own version of this caddy, then simply head over to your VCarve account, where you can download the project files from there. And if you do end up creating your own version, then please share that with us. We'd love to see your versions of our projects. Now, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you've not yet subscribed to our channel, then please hit the subscribe button for instant updates on the latest videos that we'll be releasing. Thank you for watching. Happy making. Cheers.